What's up, everybody? I know it's been a long time since I've actually posted an update or, just got on and riffed with some stuff. I've been incredibly busy starting my second LLC, and things are going really great. Don't get me wrong, but with all of that opportunity has come a lot of work and family stuff as well. We get sidetracked, and I guess making these videos is not high up on the priority list, right? So, but I do still want to keep everyone updated and just riff for a little bit. So some quick updates. I have finally started writing my book. I have, I think, about 3 to 5 chapters. Some of them are, just a couple of paragraphs long. They're not fully fleshed out. Others I've got a couple of pages on. So things are going good in that regard. The markets, right, as far as my financial advising LLC goes, looking pretty hectic right now. It's right before the elections. Today is November 10th, 2022. Yesterday was one of the lowest days the market has ever seen. Today, things are going pretty well. Yesterday, crypto crashed a lot. Bitcoin hit 15,000. So just if you're watching this video sometime in the future, that's kind of the historical marker for today's video. But the main topic that I want to talk about is the headline, "Is college worth it?" So a lot of posts I've been seeing recently on Instagram especially, I don't know about y'all, but for me, I follow a lot of motivational things like that, and so therefore, like Gary Vaynerchuk, Andy Frisella, and all of those guys, Jocko Willink, just about anybody who's out there promoting a good message, trying to hype people up to add value to this world. And so therefore I get all this recommended stuff that pops into my feed, when I am doing the dirty of mindlessly scrolling late at night when I'm just gassed for the day mentally and physically. So, and this one I've seen kind of more frequently lately, and it just really gets under my skin because I don't know how to explain the ignorance of it, but it's just it's short-sighted, and you don't know what you don't know until you've experienced it. Like once your mind has been expanded by exploring new frontiers, say if you've only been raised in one country and you haven't been to another, but then once you get out of the country that you grew up in or get out of the city that you grew up in, your brain can never go back because you've had that opportunity to have your brain and your mind expanded. And so there were years in this goes back even to like I can remember as far back as like 2014, 2016, and it's not a new phenomenon. But this whole, you don't need to go to college. College isn't worth it. You can, get the same education on your own. And it's like, that is more or less true, because you're going to get a better education by doing rather than by paying for it and sitting in a classroom, so to speak. But that's not what you're paying for. What you're paying for is the environment. You're paying for someone else's experience. You're paying for this is not the term that I want to use, but it's for lack of a better term, you're paying for like a safe place it's like paper trading with your brokerage. Like you can practice ideas, and maybe if they fail, it's not the end of the world. Whereas if you're 19 and you didn't go to college and you've worked really hard and worked overtime, and all you have to your name is $2,000 after 3 months of working two jobs, and you take all of that money and invest it, and then it fails, then boom, you're done, you're out, right? So let's talk through a couple of different things. First is what you always hear, or what I see more frequently, is like, well, Bill Gates dropped out, Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of college, those two guys are successful. Steve Jobs, Wozniak, those two guys. Jay-Z didn't go to college, and gosh, how many more? Well, okay, let's take the first two, Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg. Both of those guys actually did go to college, and then they dropped out, okay? If you don't know the story behind Zuckerberg, just watch the movie The Social Network with cameo appearance by Justin Timberlake, right? Bill Gates is similar. These guys, they went to college. They had the safe place to code. And not only that, they had time. So when you go to college, you pay that tuition so that you have time to go to the library, to have access to professors, to labs that you can write this code in and do all of these different things. And yes, if you have a good idea by the time you're a junior in college, or even if you're about to graduate, if it makes more sense to cut the cord and take the plunge then and there, then you need to do it, because absolutely, like, that is the risk that Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg took, right? But those are the exception and not the rule, okay? So when you see these posts about, is college worth it? College isn't worth it. Blah, blah, blah. Don't go to college. It's a scam. Okay, yes, it's a scam if you're going for basket weaving dance therapy, or, you know, animal herding in the Scottish Highlands with a minor in bagpipe playing. That is, it's not a scam, but it's like, what value is that adding to the world? So it was Tony Robbins, I think. I was watching a YouTube video months and months and months ago, and he was being interviewed, and it was the same question in a sense of like, what are your thoughts on going to college? Should people go to college? His response, and my agreement, absolutely. How are you going to know how to do accounting? How are you going to know finance if you don't go to college and learn these things? These are classes that aren't taught in high school. That's the truth. And high school is a basis, a foundation for college. You know, everyone wants to force everything back onto high school, like personal finance needs to be taught in high school, this and that. And I agree, a lot of that stuff maybe should. You know, maybe high school, you know, you should learn how to balance a checkbook, because by the time you graduate, you're going to be 18, legally in the eyes of the law, an adult, and you need to know some of these basic skills. But when you go to college, you're going to have to try to find an idea of what you're going to be. And so having those foundational classes, whether it's biology, physics, you know, algebra, geometry, statistics, these are all foundational curricula that are going to propel you into success in college. In college, one of the biggest values of college that people don't realize is time management. You know why? And this is why I agree with Tony Robbins on what he said as to why people should go to college. Yes, it's not only to learn things like go to business school. I graduated and got my degree in business with a focus in finance. So I took accounting classes, statistics classes, you know, Six Sigma classes, operations management classes, basic classes on Excel, and of course finance, right? Investing, how to do a financial statement analysis. In fact, in college, I self-published a how-to guide on how to write a financial statement analysis for a company, and I sold it through my blog, and I made a decent amount of money for a college kid, enough to buy beer and go out and socialize and build my network. So there is a lot of value in that alone. And I agreed that there's another thing that comes from college as far as learning time management, because now all of a sudden you have huge gaps in your day. All right. So I remember like freshman and sophomore year, like freshman year is like the litmus test of what are you going to do with your free time, because you'll wake up and you might have a 9 a.m. class or an 8:30 a.m. class, and then your next class won't be until 11. So like you've got this this 9 a.m. class that ends at 10, and then you have an hour. What do you do in that hour? Do you goof off, play video games, whatever? I played video games sometimes. Other times I did my homework. I did a lot of things that maybe have harmed me in the long run, but at the time were learning experiences. And you know why it was okay to do that then? Because I was an 18, 19-year-old kid, didn't really have an idea of what I wanted to be, but I was in a safe environment to study and to fail. And I failed, right, by mismanaging my time. Yes, I still got decent grades. I got my B's. I got my 3.8 GPA, yada, 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 all of this stuff. But the most important thing is I didn't go out into the real world and risk a bunch of stuff to try to start a business selling wristbands that would have ultimately failed, because that was my great idea at 19. Instead, I was forced to stay in college, go to accounting classes, go to finance classes, learn about net present value and internal rate of return, and how to write a financial statement analysis, and how to study balance sheets, and where to go on the website, on the SEC website, to look at a 10-K, and basic marketing classes. These are all things of value that you can't achieve in the real world, because people aren't going to say, hey, look here. That's what a professor's job is to do, is to take you and put your nose in the right spot. And because you're always, no matter where you're at in life, you have horse blinders on with everything that there is. Everyone is busy. Everybody is busy. It's never going to stop. You're always going to have something else to do on your plate. There's a never-ending to-do list. And it's like when I played football, you kind of just have your coach to say, like, here, okay, go hit that guy. Or like, here, you stay here and then you block, or you make these kind of steps. You have coaches. That's what a professor's job is to do, is they're supposed to coach you on what to do, where to look, how to read a balance sheet, what to do with an income statement, how to program certain formulas into Excel. Because the truth is, the exception and the exceptional people like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg and Bezos and all of these people who have created all of these monstrous companies and become billionaires, they are that way. They are the exception because they do the other things that other people aren't willing to do. And you can sit here and say, yes, like, drop out of college and pursue your dream. Okay, well, you should only do that if and only if you're going to put in the work, and if you have a brilliant idea that gets you out of bed every day at the crack of dawn, and you go to work on it, and you don't stop working on it till 11 p.m. at night. Because I'll tell you what, with the 2 LLCs that I've started, I found out that my passion very early on was money and finance, because I wanted to help people, and I was good at math, and the Venn diagram lines up, right? And so I go into it. I spend 9 years as a financial advisor / insurance agent, just working my way up, insurance agent, intern to insurance agent, and then financial advisor to investment advisor to owning my own LLC with my own clients and my own book of business, and having a passive income stream and the freedom to not be a salesman and be an actual investment / financial advisor, and helping people achieve their goals. In order to start that LLC, I had to make tons of sacrifices, and people aren't willing to make these sacrifices. The first night, the first night, when I decided to leave and start this LLC with my business partner, we worked, no joke, 35 hours straight, subsisting on Red Bull and coffee. All right. We filled out paperwork. We redid the website. We did all of this stuff. Okay. I can't even tell you like the amount of work that went in the first 35 hours. It was insane. Papers all over the table, working in like 3 different locations, coffee table, kitchen table, desk upstairs, just boom, 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 like little areas of work. And then the next 2 years were absolute hell. I drove Lyft and Uber because it gave me the freedom to set my own hours while I was trying to grow that business, because with the amount of clients I had at the time, it wasn't enough to eat, it wasn't enough to pay the bills, and I had to do that. And I'm telling you, when you spend 4 days, 5 days staying up till 2 or 3 in the morning driving drunk people home and only making $200 to $400 a night, it's hell. And for a tall guy like me, it's not good on my body. And I have a lot of great stories from that, and those are some of my most cherished memories because of the sacrifices I made. Those weekends that I didn't go out and spend with my friends, that I didn't go out and get drunk or get high or do all of those different things, are paying dividends now because it was a sacrifice that I made then for future me. And the same thing with the current LLC. I had to put in years of grunt work, learning a trade, taking orders, humbling myself to people who knew more than me, etc., until I found the right opportunity to do it on my own. And luck is just, I don't know if this is a cliche or not. I think it holds more or less true, because I don't believe in luck as a chance thing. I really think luck is made, because luck is when preparation meets opportunity, because someone can provide you with an opportunity. There's an opportunity that's going to come up in the course of just the market. And when I say the market, just the global, just the world, just how things are going, okay? And if you are putting in the work, there's a great quote by Pablo Picasso. It's like, something about inspiration is like, inspiration is there, or inspiration will find you, but it only has to find you working. Like, you have to be doing the repetitions, you have to be doing the right things, you have to be putting in the work on a day-to-day basis. And I'm not saying don't take vacations, don't take breaks. Those are great too, but like when I take a vacation, it's a completely 180. It's the same goal of reading, journaling, bettering myself, making sure that I'm resting the right parts of my body and my brain so that I can come back stronger and more focused than ever, because burnout is a real thing. So guys, you got to get out there. And yes, maybe you didn't go to college right out of high school, maybe you don't have a GED, maybe whatever, but I am telling you, even 2 years at a community college, even if you don't get a degree, is going to be some of the best time that you invest in yourself ever. That's what you hear all of these people say. Kiyosaki, golly, I don't know. There's so many gurus out there, right, who say invest in yourself. Well, invest in yourself by taking the time to sit your butt down in a classroom and learn something from people who have taken the time to sit down and write a textbook and study this thing. Because I'm gonna be the first one to tell you that there is no way I would have had the success that I've had without not only the book knowledge and the street knowledge, because you have to have both, and the yin and the yang and the opposing forces and the sun and the moon and the blah 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 blah, this and the that and the, okay, like it is all a working machine. And you've got to have both if you want to have that big perspective. And without that big perspective, you're going to get your horse blinders on. And the more perspective you have and the further you can zoom out, the less the horse blinders are going to affect you. That's like a really, I don't know, I don't feel comfortable ending on that. It's not strong, it's not powerful, but I think the message is there in everything that I've just said. Invest in yourself, do the work, never give up on your dreams, especially if you're passionate about it, and especially if it's something that drives you, and you will be successful. And then you will have that mailbox money. And always do things. And y'all, if you ever have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Reach out. I'm more than happy to help at any time. And let's do this together. Peace out.